The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from Giant Stadium, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Chrysler Plymouth. We're working together to be the best. And by Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars.
The Dolphins and the Jets, the competitive AFC East, both playoff teams last year. Recently, they provided some spectacular results. They had it spinning in their last meeting last November. Final seconds, Orange Bowl, Miami. A Dan Marino to Mark Duper pass. 50 yards and a dramatic 21-17 Miami win. That was 85. Today at Giant Stadium, they clash again. Though early, it's already playoff important. And the usual sellout crowd of 76,000 at Giant Stadium. Perfect football weather, partly sunny and 72 degrees in this AFC East matchup, Miami and the Jets. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Welcome to East Rutherford, New Jersey. Both teams are 1-1. Third week of the season. Is that too strong a talk that it has playoff implications?
Dick, I don't think so, because if you want to get to those playoffs, you've got to win the games within your division. The Jets have already lost a game to New England here at home last week. They can't really figure to beat Miami in Miami. This game takes on very great and important proportions to them.
In fact, if New England should win today, the loser of this game will fall quickly 2 games back. Well, here in New York, the Jets' favorite material has been adhesive and gauze.
Lots of bandages here. Freeman McNeil, their ace running back for the Jets, out on injured reserve with a hyperextended elbow. That really hurts them, because you know that the way you want to beat Miami is to run the football. Puts a lot of pressure on Johnny Hector today.
And the defensive backfield for the Jets decimated. Do they have 4 healthy players there?
Well, yes, but just barely. Walking wounded. 6 Jet defensive backs hurt. That means they had to go out at the first of this week and bring in 2 extra defensive backs. They've activated them, brought them onto the roster. I had talked to Bud Carson yesterday. Carson said, I don't know, we couldn't even line up 4 healthy guys out there yesterday.
And they have to face Dan Marino. When Marino throws his 8th pass today, he will rate as the all-time NFL passer in efficiency.
Oh, Dick, I got to tell you, if I were Marino, you might see 8 of the word to go with the kickoff, and we're ready for football here in Foxborough. Edmonds takes it at the 12. He's out to the 31-yard line.
Dennis Blygen opens with Johnny Hector in the backfield behind Ken O'Brien, and that's Rocky Cleaver in motion. Not much there at all for Blygen, a couple of yards. First check of the scores in the National Football League. No scoring yet as those games are underway. Denver gets a safety early at Philadelphia, and Indianapolis with a quick score against the Rams. Minnesota hits early against the Steelers.
Cleaver came all the way inside to crack on the nose tackle that time. Very unusual play for the Jets.
2nd and 8. Hector dancing into the secondary and dropped at the 22. First down, Jets. In white, New York lines up offensively this way. O'Brien, part of that great class of quarterbacks in 1983. Hector for the injured Freeman McNeil. Tony Page, although Blygen started for Page, better receiver Blygen. Toon, they love him here. You'll hear a lot of Toon when he gets his hands on the ball. The speedster veteran Wesley Walker, tight end Mickey Schuler. He's caught 144 the last 2 years. The line of Sweeney, Banker, Fields, Alexander, and McElroy. Same names as late last year, but they're in different positions, 3 of them. Hector again over the top to the 25, a gain of 3. Fields at center, and Alexander was playing with a bad back at right guard in the same spots, but Sweeney, Banker, and McElroy moved around. The Miami Dolphins defense has a couple of rookies. One, T.J. Turner from Houston. Bob Baumhauer, the all-pro, back at nose tackle, and Little, the other wide man. Brzezinski shipped John Offerdahl from Western Michigan. They're really high on that rookie, and Hugh Green, the all-pro. Langford, Judson, Blackwood, and Brown in the backfield. Dennis Blygen for 5 out to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 2. Jackie Shipp, number 50 in the Miami defense, to make the tackle.
Just watching Dan Alexander down there, we talked about his back injury. Number 60, right in the middle of your screen. Boy, I tell you, he has tried to make his blocks. You saw him throwing down at TJ on that play, but he is having problems in there. Alexander will probably go as long as he can, but that may not be too long.
3rd and 2, 4 plays, 4 rushes for the Jets. And they stay on the ground again to Hector. A little misdirection, and Hector has a first down at the 33, almost the 34. Well, the Jets a couple of first downs to get out of the hole.
Number 56, right in the middle of your picture, John Offendahl, and they are so excited about him. He is one of the very quiet, very unassuming young men. Got away with a little hanger on the face mask on that play, but he's calling the defensive signals. You see him stepping into the huddle there with the call from Chuck Studley on the sideline, and he is an impact player. They are thrilled to have him.
I've never heard Shula use so much praise about a first-year player since Marino checked in. O'Brien's first throw. Plenty of time, and then no one open, and he has to eat it back at the 25-yard line.
And if there's one thing that I'd like to see O'Brien do, it's to learn how to unload that football. You've heard a lot about it. We've heard a lot about the sacks, and I'm sure O'Brien is tired of hearing about the sacks. But at the same time, there's an awareness factor that you'd like to see him develop. The ability to throw that football away when he knows there's no one open. Marino does that, I think, as well as any quarterback in the league today. And as on the other side of the spectrum, the least sacked quarterback in football, as opposed to O'Brien being the most sacked quarterback.
62 times last year, and that was the 8th sack against O'Brien this year. Credit Hugh Green with the sack. On 2nd and 13, O'Brien dumps it off, has a man. It's the tight end, Claver. Rocky Claver from the University of Montana gets 11 before Brzezinski can tackle him from behind.
That ball slightly underthrown. Had it been stretched out a little bit over the top, I think they would have had the first down. Brzezinski able to recover enough to make a saving tackle, at least for the first down. Watch him right here. Had to stop for that ball. If he could have picked it up on the run, kept his momentum, would have picked up at least another 10 yards on the play.
We talked about the all-pro matchup with Stevenson going against Plecko. You saw Bob Baumhauer, also an all-pro, against Joe Fields, the highly regarded center of the Jets. Baumhauer putting pressure on O'Brien. 3rd down and a short 2, and it's going to be close as Hector trying to edge forward. George Little, 99. Defensive right end from Iowa was there first.
Short, Dick. They didn't get up to that marker on that play. You talk about Baumhauer. Baumhauer still coming back from knee problems. Is not back to full speed. Has improved each and every week, but he told me even though his knee actually feels better than it did back in '84, he is not back to full speed at this time.
Baumhauer, one of the many from Alabama, and many spotted on this Miami roster. And of course, Alabama, another theme for Don Shula. At practice yesterday, he interrupted practice several times to say, "Get me that Alabama score." His son Mike Shula, the quarterback of the Tide, and they were successful yesterday, 21-7.
A lot of Florida players on that team. There might have been a few friendly wagers on that game as well.
A 4th down and less than a yard, as you saw, and the punting team already on. Dave Jennings averaging 37.6 a kick this year. 4 times a Pro Bowler himself.
Excellent contrast in Jennings and Roby. Jennings with a net average that is not too spectacular, but with a net average that's much better than his gross average. Kicks the ball with great control, good hang time. They don't get much on the returns.
Nat Moore, as you saw, deep at the 13. Beautiful spiral. Moore, fair catch at the 9-yard line. An excellent kick by the veteran Dave Jennings from St. Lawrence University. Went there as a basketball player and just said, "I can kick a football," and here he is now in his 13th.
The shoulder level, even below the shoulder level. Watch Roby. Look how high he starts his drop. A violent kicking action, yet Roby's foot, his plant foot, stays on the ground. Jennings is up in the air to finish it. That's interesting.
We'll take another look at that. Out of the backfield, Hampton, incomplete. That last punt by Jennings was good for 48 yards to put Miami inside the 10-yard line. And before we go to the kickers, we're just a short punt away from NFL 86.
Dick, here's the opening kickoff in Philadelphia. Junior Totalatasi bringing it back for the Eagles. Ken Woodard hits him for the Broncos. Mike Harden comes up. The ball squirts free. The Broncos can't recover it. Otherwise, it would have been 1st and goal to go. Instead, it squirts out of the end zone for a safety. Later, they add a field goal and lead 5-0.
All right, Bob, very timely. We talked about the Denver defense in NFL 86, and already they've produced, in essence, 5 points against the Eagles. Hampton corralled after a gain of nearly 5. Lance Mell, Penn State All-American in on the tackle. Still no score. St. Louis, Buffalo, Atlanta, Dallas. 5-0, a baseball score. The Broncos at Philly. Indianapolis up 7-0 against the Rams. Pittsburgh has tied the Vikings at 7. No score in Detroit. 3rd down. Between 5 and 6 yards for the first down. 6 defensive backs in against Marino. Incomplete. And the reason it was pressure by Gastineau and Lyons on Marino. And Gastineau trying to get the crowd going. The football Samson, number 99, the long-haired Mark Gastineau.
Brings Reggie Roby back onto the field. And they're going to kick out of Reggie Roby. Will start in his own end zone to kick this one away. Should give the Jets good field position.
Watch again how Roby uses that real high release of the ball, and then he locks the plant foot down. Most kickers will let that plant foot leave the ground. He just sledgehammers. Sohn at the 50. 40, 30, Kurt Sohn to the Miami 23.
What a great play by Sohn. Wow.
36-yard punt by Roby, and Sohn takes it back 27, and the Jets are in scoring position. After that punt.
He might at that. Watch this great play. Sohn catches the ball under pressure. Gets away from Mike Smith, 25 there. Away from the tight end coming down. And then just breaks his way up the sideline. And that's such a heady play, an experienced play, knowing when you can catch the ball in traffic and do something with it to help your team get that field position. I'll tell you, they really are tickled to death to have Sohn back and productive. They thought he'd never play again after that severe knee injury.
Roby, the punter, made the tackle just 9 yards past the line of scrimmage for the punt. From the 23, Cleaver in motion. Hector. Johnny Hector from Texas A&M down close to the 15-yard line before Offerdahl. And Bud Brown can make the tackle for Miami. 5 minutes left first quarter. Let's go to NFL 86.
All right, Dick, a moment ago in Foxborough, Rich Camarillo to punt for the Patriots. The Seahawks, Kerry Justin blocks it. They take over at the 13-yard line, and on the next play, Kurt Warner scores, and the Seahawks have a 7-0 lead in the first at New England.
Well, that's an interesting matchup. Seattle and New England both unbeaten. And Seattle uses the defense to score. O'Brien looking for 6 underneath. Incomplete to Blygen. He looked long first to Walker in the end zone and then tried to throw underneath.
O'Brien, very disciplined in his move from receiver to receiver. They're very careful. They have him structured. You see the look deep. Comes right back there when the deep pass is not open to Blygen. That pass should have been gathered in by Dennis Blygen, who has developed into a very fine receiver out of the backfield, but didn't show you that skill on that particular catch.
O'Brien, who had sensational numbers last year other than being sacked, 25 touchdowns, only 8 passes intercepted, 3rd and a long 2. incomplete, and fortunate for the Jets, that was not intercepted on the ricochet. Al Toon was the intended target. Here comes Pat Leahy as the Jets look for his 15th consecutive field goal.
You'd almost like to see a stat that says passes dropped, because it's so unfortunate to credit the quarterback with an incomplete pass in a situation like that where Al Toon had the ball in his hands and should have made the catch for a first down.
32-yard field goal attempt out of Pat Ryan's hold. Guy Bingham to snap. Veteran Leahy's been outstanding. He's really hitting him, and he's got another. 15 straight. The NFL record, 23, Mark Mosley. Now the Jets have scored first. Ken O'Brien wanted 7, but New York settles for 3. Punt return, setting up the Jets field goal by Leahy from 32 with 4 minutes, 29 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Here at Giants Stadium, Lorenzo Hampton, 27, and the rookie James Pruitt, 82, await Leahy's kickoff. Hampton at the 10. Has a seam and is across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Now, we talked about Klecko and Stevenson in that matchup, and when they talk about Stevenson, the center for Miami, they all say he's got great hands. That used to be what they talked about defensive players.
Well, it used to be that the defensive players had their hands as perhaps their only advantage, but now allowing the offensive players to use their hands, and in particular, a man with good, strong, powerful hands and arms. Stevenson neutralizes a lot of the moves of good nose tackles just by getting those hands up quickly and stopping them and making them respect.
And that's for a man, he has to snap the ball and still gets those hands up that quickly. If you get a chance, we'll show you how quick he makes that transition. He'd be a magician. Marino, plenty of time to find Mark Duper, and he's out of bounds at the 45 of New York. Johnny Lynn made the bump. Ticker, bringing you up to date on all the early games around the National Football League.
We talk about quick hands for the center, Dwight Stevenson. Marino's hands, about as quick as any you'll see. Boy, does he smoke that ball out of there in a hurry.
Duper to the left, Clayton near side, Woody Bennett, and Lorenzo Hampton behind Marino. Open again is Duper, and he's inside the Jets 25. Johnny Lynn makes the tackle. Duper has 21 more yards.
Super duper. Boy, is he ever. Amazing size. Look at the size of his thighs and hips. Great power in those legs. Boy, does he have speed. You see him there just looping, getting away, and Marino with a wonderful sense of vision. Boy, he sees what's happening downfield. And when a receiver gets open, that ball is on its way.
Duper at 5'9", was a high school basketball center, can dunk with either hand. Marino already 76 yards, and this will be his 8th pass, his 1500th career pass. And he hits Hampton at the 20. Hampton inside the 10, first and goal Miami. So Dan Marino with his 1500th pass. You need that many attempts to qualify, and is the top-rated passer in NFL history. Joe Montana, Roger Staubach, a distant third.
Well, and the Dolphins do such a great job of getting the good isolation. They're trying to get the back isolated on Lance Mel here. They're able to do it, and Mel, who's working on a couple of bad ankles, simply no match for the speed of number 27, Lorenzo Hampton. They're down in scoring position.
13 more yards on the last toss. They have nearly the full 10 yards to go on first and goal. 3.5 minutes left first quarter. Marino over the middle. Duper, he wanted interference from Lynn. Make that Carl Howard now, who is in that deep secondary. He has just rejoined the Jets. Played with the Cowboys, Houston, Tampa Bay. Jets out of Rutgers.
They like Howard. In fact, Bud Carson very confident that he is going to be able to fit in. But, boy, when you've been out for a while, wandered around, and they call you and say, come on back, it takes a while to get back into the swing of things. He was with the Jets earlier in the preseason, cut loose and now reactivated.
Woody Bennett out, so only Hampton behind Marino, and Nat Moore is the third wide receiver. He's lined up tight on the right side. Inside handoff to Hampton did not fool the Jets. He's to the 6-yard line. Marty Lyons. Boy, does he look in great shape. Lyons, the former #1 pick out of Alabama in 1979.
Jets have been giving up yardage against the running game this year. Very tough last year. Third best in the NFL. One of the reasons is because of the good techniques in that defensive line. Not only some physical players in there, but they play with sound defensive technique. And when you have an anchor like Klecko in the middle, it makes it a lot easier on you.
4 wide receivers, James Pruitt and Clayton on the far side, Moore and Duper on the near side. Jets may have been offside. 3rd and goal. Inside to Pruitt, and the rookie has a touchdown.
Smart move by Pruitt. He was in the doghouse 2 weeks ago, missed the plane out to San Diego, and then dropped 2 passes in that game, one of them for a touchdown. Came back last week with a big catch and a couple of big punt returns, and here he is in a crucial situation, not only making the catch, but then able to stretch that long body out and stick that ball across the goal line. That'll endear him to Coach Don Shula.
4th round draft pick out of Cal State Fullerton. Reve's extra point try is there, and Miami leads for the first time. As they march quickly downfield using the Marino pass, he hits Pruitt for his 2nd NFL touchdown. One of 44 games, at least 1 touchdown pass.
Notice they were reviewing the sheet that Strock keeps on the sideline of what plays they were on. I want to know what was working, what wasn't working.
Reve's kicks off. Bobby Humphrey deep for the Jets, but it sails to the far side. Michael Harper, former Southern California running back. Harper does not get to the 20. Down at the 17, Crash Jensen. Jim Jensen, the backup quarterback on the special teams. Let's go to NFL 86.
Dick, that orange crush defense that Ahmad talked about on the pregame show strikes again in Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham to the air, picked off by Mike Harden. 30 yards later, he's in the end zone, and Denver leads at the Vet 12-0 over the Eagles.
That Ahmad Rashad was right on with that Denver defense. Maybe he should pick the games instead of McGuire.
Well, one thing, you win with good defense. You start that march to the championship. The Broncos know that.
O'Brien, the throw, has time and hits Rocky Cleaver over the middle. Tight end is out to the 28-yard line. 11 yards and a first down. Cleaver, who started today with only 1 catch in the first 2 games, has 2 already in this first period. 2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the quarter. 7-3 Miami.
Jets have been using some double tight end in there, and on that particular play, broke Cleaver up inside. They haven't been able to get the ball as often as they'd like to their other big tight end, Mickey Schuler. Schuler not on the same track as he was last year.
Big hole for Blygen, and he rumbles to the 38-yard line. Dennis Blygen, the all-time St. John's scorer and rusher, and the first of the Redmen to make it in the NFL.
Let's go down into the pit and watch Joe Fields working on number 73, Bob Baumhauer. Look at him as he takes him to the outside and drops on his legs, opening the way for Blygen. That's the kind of play, that's an overcommitment by Baumhauer. That's the kind of thing he's got to work himself back out of as he gets into shape.
A little over 10 yards on the carry. Cleaver again in motion, and then comes in to block on Baumhauer. Ooh, my. T.J. Turner of Houston making the hit. A yard gain at best. On the ticker, 3-0 Atlanta scoring. There's the 2 unbeaten teams down in Dallas. And the Falcons, certainly one of the surprises of this young season. Denver's defense has them a dozen. 7-7, New England comes back in the second at Foxborough. 7-7, the Rams have tied it at Indy. 14-7, Minnesota for Pittsburgh in the first, and Tampa Bay leads in Detroit. Hector ducking through a hole, and Johnny Hector to the 47-yard line. Good gain for Hector of 7 yards.
Dick, John Offerdahl is so quick from his linebacking position on that last play, reading in the backfield. Watch him, number 56. Look how he reads it quickly, shoots inside, stacks the blocker right there. That's Tony Page, knocks him on his back. A little too aggressive. Ball carrier able to cut in behind that, still found room to run. But you see there the very physical nature of that young rookie.
John Offerdahl, the number 2 draft pick of the Dolphins, and already calling defensive signals for Shula as a rookie. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Giant Stadium, with the Dolphins leading 7-3. Here at Giant Stadium, his dad, Tiger, was a player in the NFL going way back and a coach with the Steelers. And his son, they've nicknamed him Tiger, as a junior high school quarterback. Both head coaches have young sons who are quarterbacks. One in college, Mike Shula, and Joe Walt said since he's 14, and he's already 6 feet 2 inches tall as a quarterback in junior high. Jets with a good drive. Look at 3rd and 1.5. Have a man open. Hector, first down. Miami 43. Hugh Green ran him out of bounds. It's been a good march for the Jets. Let's look at the statistics, Merlin.
Time of possession favoring the Jets in both games last year. A big edge for the Jets in that department. Yardage favoring the Dolphins, as you might expect, with their success over the passing lanes. They have not done much with the rushing attack. They haven't run the ball that often.
No, they haven't. I wonder why. Boy, that's just that's like unlocking the candy store to give Marino a chance to shoot those bullets against such a wounded deep secondary. Let's drop this note in that the telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited.
Looking for a brief moment at Reggie McElroy, right tackle now, used to be on the left-hand side. They're very pleased at the results of moving that young man from the left side to the right side.
Apparently, they were having trouble with the 30-second clock. That was the reason for the delay. In fact, the 10-second clock for 30 seconds, now it's 30. It was a 10.
Starting out on its own now. Well, that's the way it should be. Shula says, okay, that's all right with me. Now the clock counting down. Well, they're winding it down to 10 seconds, I think. What are they doing here?
We're going to find out.
Okay.
I guess at 14, they decided that's where the time was. Wesley Walker in motion to the inside. First down play, and the give to Hector. Hector making a little out of a tough situation. Jackie Schiff had him shut off along with Brodzinski. Offerdahl finished the tackle. And Hugh Green is down on the far side of the field, holding his right thigh. And knee.
Oof. That's something you don't want to see. Certainly the most physical of those linebackers, perhaps with the exception of Offerdahl, quickly out to look at him.
He appeared to be all by himself out there, Merlin.
And like Dick, one of the things that this turf does, it tends to grab your feet, and occasionally you can get hurt just driving on your own.
We'll check on the welfare of Hugh Green when we return.
Today's game is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste. And by Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation.
Well, here at Giant Stadium, the concern is for number 55, Hugh Green. You heard Don Shula on NFL 86 comment that his defense was stronger. One of the main reasons they have Hugh Green now. At this time last year, he was at Tampa Bay. But will they have Green for long? The stretcher used to take him off. It appeared that Green was totally away from the play and just caught his shoes on this AstroTurf, and down he went.
Sometimes the traction is just too good on the AstroTurf fields, or the artificial turf fields, and whereas a grass field is forgiving, your cleats will tend to twist in the grass and relieve the pressure. Occasionally on a turf like this, the cleats lock up and you can't get them loose, and you literally tear that knee apart or injure the leg with the weight of your own body and the force of a quick move to the inside or the outside. That may well be what happened to Hugh Green on that play.
It was totally away from the play, and of course our cameras were all focused on the ball as it came to the right side. Much like Kyle Clifton, he turned his knee, the Jets linebacker, against New England their last game. Al Toon on an end around gets to the 40-yard line, a gain of 2 for the wide receiver from Wisconsin. 14 minutes left in the half. Here's NFL 86.
Dick, check out this play in Philadelphia. The punter is John Telchik of the Eagles. Now, it's a fake, but he throws it up in the air to make it appear to be a punt. The Denver players peeling back don't realize it. The call is illegal contact by Gerald Wilhite, not pass interference. 5-yard penalty, gave the Eagles a first down. Confused?
Oh, Buddy Ryan.
That's a buddy trick.
3rd down and 7 for the Jets. O'Brien. Toon. Fumbles. Did they get it in bounds? No, out of bounds, and it remains in the possession of the Jets as Al Toon has the first down at the Miami 25.
What a great target he is for O'Brien. O'Brien likes to lead his receivers downfield. Let's go in and see what kind of time he has to throw. Doug Benner, 75, trying to break that pocket on the inside. But O'Brien, with time to throw, gets that into the hands of Toon. Look at that ball. Kicked out of bounds, unfortunately.
Yes, Offerdahl actually, his foot unintentionally knocked it out of bounds, and that was a break for the Jets.
Defensive player must control that football. You can't just bounce it out of bounds and expect it to come back into your hand.
Jets trailing 7-3 early in the second quarter. Wide open is Rocky Cleaver. He's at the 10. He's at the 5.
It was Rocky Cleaver that capped that great drive that O'Brien put together in Miami last year that put them ahead with seconds left to go, only to watch Marino and Duper take the game out of their hands. But here's Cleaver again, fighting for that extra. Look at that. 2 guys, and they still couldn't put him down.
Took the whole Miami secondary to drag him down. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. As Cleaver, who is a tight end, special teams, emergency quarterback, he and Jim Jensen, the common denominator.
I think so. The 2 most versatile players, perhaps, in the entire NFL.
Jets trying to take the lead with 12.5 minutes left, second quarter. 4 shots from the 4. O'Brien will pass on first down. No one open. Threw it away. Flag down.
A very late flag. And Rocky Cleaver pointing it out, saying that Mike Kozlowski had interfered with him.
Defensive pass interference in the end zone.
Well, that penalty will take it to the 1-yard line, 1st and goal.
Rocky Cleaver here in isolation. And watch Kozlowski, number 40, coming right from the left-hand side of your picture. And he's going to make the contact before the ball is thrown. Look at that. No question about it. The ball actually thrown late, but that is further downfield than 5 yards. It's illegal contact.
Now they mark it at the 1-yard line, and with it a first down on the interference call. Don Shula breaches no penalties. In this case, Kozlowski figured that if he didn't hit the wide receiver or the tight end Cleaver, it would have been a touchdown.
They called it interference, Dick. They put it on the 1-yard line.
Hector, touchdown. Joe Walton's Jets with a very impressive drive to match the previous scoring rampage of Miami. 9-7, and Leahy's try for the point after, and Shula jawing with somebody.
He's never happy when he sees a team move down the field that way.
Leahy makes it 10-7. 83 yards in 10 plays, 5 minutes plus, and Johnny Hector, number 34, subbing for the injured Freeman McNeil, gives the Jets the lead with his 1-yard scoring run. Leahy has it teed up. Lorenzo Hampton and James Pruitt. Pruitt, the touchdown maker on the 6-yard pass from Marino on their last possession. He comes to the near side. Leahy drills it. Deep. Hampton. And he won't run it out. They'll take it at the 20-yard line. Let's check on the score. Guess that ticker's hibernation. There it is.
Wait a minute. Here it comes.
That's a 10-minute ticker plus 10 seconds. Buffalo leading 10-0 against St. Louis. And Dallas' Danny White hits Thornton Chandler, a 3-yard touchdown pass. New England has taken the lead against Seattle. The Rams with 2 quick touchdowns now lead 21-7. Minnesota a 10-point lead over Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay 2 touchdowns over Detroit. Here it is 10-7. Jets leading Miami. 12 minutes exactly left in the first half. Marino goes to work. Didn't take him long to score the last time they had the ball. Woody Bennett. Nothing. Flags are down. Let's go back to the touchdown scored by Johnny Hector.
A couple of things to look for on this touchdown. If you look at the holding call against Miami, let's look quickly. Watch the pull by Alexander here, who's going to trap. Joe Fields, the center, is going to cut over here
Holding.
to get the play.
Number 74, offense, still first down.
There's Fields cutting down 2 men. You see 60 Alexander on the outside, and there inside, a beautiful block by number 81 Griggs. Look at that power by Hector. He is excited about an opportunity to come in again, as he has before, to substitute for an injured Freeman McNeil, and he's doing a fine job in there today.
Is there any play, I imagine every coach in the country who saw Merlin draw that play, is there anything like the off-tackle play in terms of just drawing it up and seeing it executed?
When you get blocking like that, you don't see it any better.
Intercepted by Lester Lyles. Lyles at the 20. He's down at the 19, and the Jets are in business. Dan Marino pressured out of the pocket, stepped up, and then misfired. And Lyles, the second-year back from Virginia, has his first interception.
The Jets feel if they can get pressure in Marino's face, they can force him to make the bad play. Lyles gets a little stick right there on Clayton. The ball underthrown as Marino was taking the heat. And Lyles gathers it up, and although he's got a bad ankle, he runs pretty well on that play.
So leading 10-7, O'Brien first down at the Miami 19. Hector. Ooh, he hit at the 15-yard line. Coming up from the secondary, Bud Brown and William Judson. A reminder, our viewers will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player today's game at the conclusion of this contest from Giant Stadium. Gain of 4.5 for Hector.
Mark Brown has replaced Hugh Green on the right-hand linebacking position defensively. Left-hand for, as you would face it, your Jet player.
He wears 51, and they're running at him. They did the last play. Tune in motion. O'Brien stepping up. Hitting his tight end again. Nicky Schuler inside the 10.
Schuler's first catch of the day. They've been going to Cleaver. The key to that play was the amount of time that they were able to get for Ken O'Brien. That was a high emphasis item for the new line coach, Brad Radakovich. You see here, they really had to have all day. Schuler was open, and boy, he caught the back end of that football. That is concentration.
Oh, that was a sizzler thrown by O'Brien at short range. Schuler showing great hands. Almost squirted all the way through. First and goal. Jets. Hector up the middle. Hector, touchdown. Lyles intercepts. Hector 5-yard run. Schuler 6-yard pass. Hector 8 yards up the middle. And it's It's now 16-7, and Shula unhappy as he prowls the sideline. Left in the first half here at Giant Stadium, and this partisan crowd delighted by Johnny Hector's 2 touchdowns, a 10-point lead. In less than 2 minutes, the Jets have 14 points. Both on Hector scores from 1 and 8 yards, and Leahy kicks it off with a 17-7 Jets lead. And Leahy into the end zone to Hampton. Hampton stopped at the 12-yard line, and it's suddenly the Jets who are doing everything right. Bobby Humphrey and Matt Munger make the tackle. Let's go back to Hector's score.
Again, you'll see the guard pull. Alexander pulling, getting a lead block in here. But the key to the play is the fact that Hector is able to cut back against the grain. And Bob Baumhauer, the nose tackle, overruns the play. But watch the cutback by Hector here as he slides inside and just with pure power pulls out of the hands of a couple of prospective tacklers.
We talk about the door just being open ajar, just a little crack, and Hector dancing his way in. First down, Marino at his own 12. Hampton, second year back from Florida, across the 15, close to the 17 before Clifton and Jackson can make the tackle. Jets leading 17-7. Buffalo a 10-point lead. Atlanta now moves back in front at Irving, Texas. Denver 19-0 big at Philly. New England a 3-point lead against Seattle. Battle of unbeatens there. Rams by 2 touchdowns at Indianapolis. 17-7 Minnesota, and Tampa Bay 14-0 against the Lions. Second and 4. Marino going deep. Clayton 50, and Clayton to the Jets 40 as he beats Lyles. 42 yards unofficially to Mark Clayton in his 4th year out of Louisville.
Clayton is bumped early on the play by number 28, Carl Howard. Howard, who's expecting help deep, is not there to make the play, but it looked like they were expecting Lyles to get there a little more quickly. Either that or they didn't expect Clayton to get there that quickly.
Or they expected Howard to do a better job of bumping him off.
Got to tell you that Clayton actually outlifted Mark Gastineau in the Superstars competition. He lifted 305 in the military lift at Gastineau's 295.
That
embarrassed you. How can you think about that for a second?
He's an athlete. 5'9" and 175, lifting almost twice his weight. Marino over the middle, complete. Clayton again. And a flag down, and they may tack on some extra against the Jets.
Face mask call.
Shooting fish in a barrel. Marino.
Number 47.
Holmes. Harry Holmes. A little extra help on Clayton.
Very difficult to work against a timing pattern like this, and that's exactly what it is. It's the quick slant. And this is something that the Miami Dolphins do so well anyway. There's the face mask call. Not really using it as a tackling device, but when you get your hand on a mask, you can expect a flag in the air. Holmes, of course, came back to the Jets from the USFL. His first practice blew out his ankle. And that's something that the Jets have had a great deal of. Joe Walton said, look at that, one day. He's here one day. Already he's got ankle disease.
And Russell Carter, the starting cornerback, was one of the few healthy ones. He's been injured and is out of the game for the Jets. And Marino looks at a first down at the New York 22. Over the middle, Zuper to the 1-yard line. A flag down as Holmes makes the tackle. And we'll check the call. There is another flag down closer to the line of scrimmage.
Dolphin players motioning that it's against the Jets, and if so, it certainly will be waved off.
Illegal use of hands. First down.
They'll decline that penalty and take the ball at the 1-yard line, first and goal.
There you see Bud Carson with the headset, right-hand side of your picture, just shaking his head, and I'm sure for what he's hoping for is some kind of healthy revival. There is Holmes man-on-man on Duper. Carson likes to send his cornerbacks in a bump-and-run situation. And I'll tell you, that's tough. When you get wide receivers with the kind of speed that the Miami Dolphins have, they can give you fits.
Full backfield, Davenport, Bennett, and Hampton all in there. And it's Ron Davenport, stops at the line of scrimmage. Kyle Clifton, 59, former TCU star. They scramble after the loose ball.
I think they're fighting for the ball, but I think it is after the whistle. But down there in the trenches, you don't know. You see that ball loose.
The ball is over in the 1-yard line. Look at the mass there. And if you go to look a little to the left, there's the ball just sitting right where. They weren't going for the ball. They're going after each other. Like a hockey game for a moment.
These teams, and again, when you play against the team as often as these two play, you develop some very intense personal rivalries.
Tony Nathan into the Miami backfield. Gastineau urging this New York crowd to make it tough on Marino on 2nd and goal at the 1. Gets tough against that run.
Well, they better be tough here. Their feet are in the end zone.
They like to throw the little swing to Nathan, who's an excellent receiver. Instead, it's the tight end. Touchdown, Dan Johnson. Johnson with his first touchdown of the new season. His 3rd catch.
So much confidence in that passing game and the ability of Marino to get the ball on target, and receivers with sure hands. Shula never afraid to use the pass instead of the run in a short yardage situation. You see Bennett, number 34, in motion. He was kind of cutting off some of those bodies, but it was a well-executed, quick turnout to the tight end.
Now, in less than 10 minutes, we've had 4 touchdowns scored. Back and forth, and now Reves to try the point after. Second-year man from Bogota, Colombia. He went down home to Bogota in the offseason and did the voice on Super Bowl 20. We've been replaced again. Let's go to NFL 86.
Well, Dick, the buddy system is not working in Philadelphia today. On a tackle-eligible play, John Elway finds Dave Studdard for the 2-yard score. For Elway, his 6th touchdown pass of the season. Late in the 2nd quarter, 19-zip. Broncos. Back to Dick and Merlin.
New York Jets leading 17-14, but Marino has removed his team very quickly. The interception, the difference. Here's the touchdown play, a little play action. Marino all the way was going to his tight end Johnson, who made a quick out move and was wide open.
They love the mismatch when they can get a receiver, even a tight end, singled up on a linebacker. They feel it's their advantage, because they know that Marino is one of the most accurate passers in all of football. Quick release, no chance to really cover any ground and close that cushion on the receiver. And Don Shula, who calls all the plays for Miami, with a great sense of what will work and what won't work. He is a big plus in that situation.
Now Marino, on the 2 scoring drives, it took him only a minute 53 of the first drive to go 67, and that last drive 88 yards in just 2 minutes 24 seconds. And the deep kick will not be run out by JoJo Townsell. First down at the 20. And with 10 minutes gone by, check to the score. New England now by 10 over Seattle. Possibly, Merlin, we're going to be out at Mile High Stadium next Sunday. We could see 2 unbeaten teams, New England and Denver. That could be a most interesting matchup. Plenty of time to go. 17-14. Jets with the ball and the lead. Whoa. Hector smothered this time as Mark Brown, number 51, invaded the Jets backfield.
George Little, defensive end on the right-hand side, also in there very quickly, and the two of them just swallowed up that running play. Jets really want to run that football. They count on establishing the running game because they love the play-action passing, which is O'Brien's long suit, really.
at the 21-yard line. Good pursuit. Brzezinski, 59, along with Offerdahl, the rookie middle linebacker. NFL 86.
Thanks again, Dick. After spotting the Seahawks a 7-0 lead, the Patriots come back and lead 17-7 after the veteran Stanley Morgan beats Dave Brown of the Seahawks and hauls in this 27-yarder from Tony Eason. Late in the second, Pats 17, Seahawks 7.
Morgan, who had 8 catches and over 100 yards in the win against the Jets here a week ago Thursday. Caught again. 3rd and 8. O'Brien, deep. Intercepted by Don McNeil on the bounce, and McNeil is inside the Jets' 15. McNeil from Alabama, his 13th career interception. And again, one of those balls bouncing around.
JoJo Townsell, the intended receiver, and this one goes right through his hands. O'Brien has the ball on target, although it is high. Let's talk about that briefly. But a great job of juggling there as McNeil shows his reactions. He's missed a lot of time with injuries. Comes back strong on that play. Johnny Hector there to make the stop downfield. Miami, after coming roaring down the field with an excellent opportunity to go ahead in this ball game.
They trail 17-14. First down at the 13 of the Jets. 17-yard return by McNeil. Woody Bennett. Lance Mel, the welcoming party.
You had a chance to hear on our pregame show a little bit about Woody's plight. Upset about the way negotiations are going. Said he may not even play in this game, but it was something he didn't want to do. He's a young man who wants to play football, and he feels like he's caught in the middle.
Yeah, as you heard Don Shula related yesterday, you really sensed a lot of empathy on the part of Shula that it has been frustrating for Bennett. He just wants to get it, that unknown. He wants to get it settled.
And that's hard on any player, especially one who's conscientious.
Second down, a long 10. Marino going for 6. Cooper has a touchdown. There would have been a penalty anyway. Duper fading into the near corner against Carl Howard.
Marino again showing that excellent vision.
Illegal contact. Defense declines. Touchdown is good.
And some hard jaws on the other side of the field that belong to Bud Carson, defensive coordinator. There you see the bumping going on. That last play, Carl Howard, no question about that, didn't bother Duper as he was able to bring both feet down just barely in bounds. There you see one of the Marks brothers. I got to tell you, defensively, when you can put that kind of speed on the field and stretch a defense, scares you to death.
Al Duper set a Miami record with like 215 yards. 217 against the Jets last year. Reves adds the extra point. It's 21-17. He already has, Duper has 91 yards in the first half on 5 catches and a touchdown today.
Credit that Miami line. You see the containment in the middle on Joe Klecko. They were able to keep Gastineau out from the other side. There's the tap dance by Duper down the sideline. Let's watch his feet, Dick. See, it looked to me in the first replay that there was no question about having both of them down. 1 foot down.
You can't. Well,
I believe it is. You can see a little touch of black there, but that's when I said tap dance, toe dance. There it is. You see the toe just barely in a slight touch of black there. If they were looking at that, Tony Vitteri's probably over there saying, "Hey, we got that one right, guys."
He would have had it with a naked eye. He's one of the best.
Yeah. There's Marino on the sideline.
Well, let's see. Marino's taken 1 minute 53 seconds to score. Then he went 88 yards in 2:24. Needed 45 seconds to take advantage of McNeil's interception and another quick 7. So with 5 minutes 6 seconds left in the half, 21-17, and Dwight Stevenson being attended to that left side.
You saw him controlling Klecko with help on that last play, and that's so important for the Dolphins offense.
Reves, high spinner at the goal line. Bobby Humphrey has a seam. Oh, couldn't quite squirt through. And look at this, 4 Dolphins down, and the last one nicked him, Mike Kozlowski.
Humphrey, who's so impressed the coaches on the Jets staff with his aggressiveness on special teams, has been moved from wide receiver to defensive back. They have high hopes for him.
So we talked about the injuries suffered by the Jets throughout the course of the preseason and the first 2 games. And there is that MASH list. And Carter hurt again today. Johnny Hector on a little swing and diving to the 39-yard line, and a first down. Hector, not exactly a long jump technique, but that was his forte in college. He was a 26-foot long jumper. In fact, in the Southwest Conference, finished second one year to a young man named Carl Lewis in Houston.
Dick, I don't think Hector is as nifty at avoiding tacklers before you get to the line of scrimmage as is Freeman McNeil. But he is a better runner once he breaks into the open.
Hector gets the call again. Look at that. Ran into a track. It's right on going. Arnie Brzezinski nailed it at the 43-yard line.
You mentioned that if you want to beat Miami's defense, you have to be able to run that football.
50 yards now for Johnny Hector, who's given a breather, and the Dolphins have rushed only 5 yards. Now they really haven't tried much, only 6 rushes, with Marino finding all kinds of room to throw.
Hector finally getting a break on the sideline. He's playing an awful lot of football.
Tony Page and Dennis Blygen, 2 fullbacks in, and O'Brien in trouble. Down he goes in the grasp of Mark Brown, and a flag is down as well. Reggie McElroy may have been holding.
Got his head down a little bit. T.J. Turner pushing from the outside. Rookie giving him a lot of heat.
Holding, number 68, offense, declined, 3rd down.
He got the 10 yards, and the loss of down anyway. Now they declined the hold on McElroy, and from the 35-yard line, it'll be 3rd down and 13.
That's still one area where Marino has a big edge over O'Brien. That's in the ability to do something when the play breaks down. Marino just with a better sense, I think, of what's happening downfield. But that's something that O'Brien, I think, will grow in as he gets more experience.
He needs 13. He's going. He's wide open. Wesley Walker. The Jets have taken the lead again. Oh, my. Walker was 15 yards in the clear.
O'Brien did a great job on that play of looking off the defense, looking to his left, and then turning back and without batting an eyelash, firing that ball deep. We'll show you the replay momentarily, but look at Shula, who is frustrated. I'm sure what happened is Brown, who's playing back there in that safety position, read the quarterback's eyes, went to his right, only to turn back around to see Walker deep behind him.
Definitely somebody made a mistake in that secondary, blew the coverage because Walker was all by himself. Leahy adds the extra point. It's like a ping pong match. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the half, and the Jets are back in front, 24-21.
Let's look at O'Brien. Now watch him. He'll have his eyes to the left. Watch him here. Looking left, and then snaps back and fires the ball. Able to pull Bud Brown off on that play. And Wesley Walker, who has been nursing supposedly a hamstring injury all week, looked pretty fast on that one.
He could have scored walking on his hands. He was that far open.
Blew by Paul Langford, who's expecting deep help. Nobody home.
Walker looking around as if to say, somebody ought to be closer. Was there a mistake? Is this one going to count? Doug Studley, the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. Walker a groin pull in practice this week, but he could run half speed and score on that kind of opening.
In fact, they held him out of practice for the last part of the week, but strictly a precautionary measure. He knew he was going to be in there today, and what an impact.
35 points scored in the second quarter. Jets lead 24-21. 3 minutes, 9 seconds left. Here comes Hampton. And Lorenzo down at the 24-yard line. Bobby Humphrey made the tackle. Yeah, all the scoring right here at Giant Stadium. Halftime, Buffalo leads 10-0. Dallas has taken the lead 14-13 on a Timmy Newsome 2-yard run. Denver big at Philadelphia. New England still up by 10, and the Rams lead by 2 touchdowns at Indy. 10-point lead Minnesota, and at halftime, Tampa Bay 11 over the Lions.
The one thing you know about the Miami Dolphins is that with Marino and with all of that speed, they can come back so quickly. Here you see the comparison of the two quarterbacks today. Numbers excellent for both quarterbacks. Much of that yardage for O'Brien in that last play.
Marino to Hampton. Ooh, you saw his helmet just snap back as he was hit. Marty Lyons.
Ooh. And that's great pursuit to see those defensive linemen chasing the quarterback. Ball goes over their heads, and they want a piece of that tackle. Watch the end of the play here. You see the little toss to Lorenzo Hampton. He gets into traffic coming from the left-hand side of your screen right there. Wow. Boy, I'd say that's a sandwich job.
First down, 17 yards for Hampton. Well executed pass by Marino. And it's Dan Johnson who has a touchdown, and Kyle Clifton with a tackle out at the 46-yard line, close to another first down.
We talked about the comparison of these two quarterbacks, and another comparison. Marino can throw with his feet in any position. O'Brien has to set up.
First down again.
Look,
down goes
I don't know if he can throw from there.
No. About the only place he can in the 2-minute timeout at 1:58, and Marino trying to hurry to get a play off before that 2-minute timeout, and actually maybe Hayes did make waste for the Dolphins.
Looked like he hooked the foot of one of his guards, or perhaps his center, and he's limping a little bit. Marino has bad knees, and you see how big those knees are. Well, that's not knee. He wears the knee brace in there. You can see part of that hanging out. Let's see if we can see what happens. There's the guard right there. Stepped on the back of his foot. Roy Foster, 61, nailed him, took him down.
Halftime, NFL 86 scores and highlights. It'll take them a whole halftime just to have the highlights of this game.
We have had some action here. These two teams really getting at it here today. Wholesale changes.
Takes out the bulk and puts in the wide
receiver. And you see the changes for the defense as well. And they,
Marino. Lots of time, and Duper unable to get to the ball. He was covered by Davlin Mullen. He's playing injured.
Both these sidelines and the coaches really alert to that kind of thing. A quick change of personnel, which means you might be outmanned on the field. And you saw how quickly the Jets countered with their own personnel in that situation. They were able to just barely get Barry Bennett, number 78, off the field. He's sprinting for that sideline. And, of course, if the ball is snapped before he gets there, it's a penalty with too many men on the field.
Third down, 17. Jets lead 24-21. 1 minute, 53 seconds, as you can see, remaining in the first half. Marino buying some time. He has the completion, but far short of the first down as Kyle Clifton makes the hit on the rookie James Pruitt. Fourth down, and Miami will have to give up the ball. The clock is running. The Jets are not using a timeout, and they haven't called it. A lot of fans here are calling it. Of course, Miami will just let that clock tick away. It was at 1:38 when they could have called time, and there's still 20 seconds on the 30-second clock.
Well, maybe they figure it's a trade-off. They'll use the timeout to get it stopped later.
Roby spirals it. First zone. He's had one fine return, but not this time. He's down at the 16-yard line with 1:07.
Excellent special teams play by Mike Smith, number 25, down there to tackle Stone. You see Joe Walton sending the play in with his quarterback right here.
1:07 left in the half. The Jets trying to add to the 3-point lead. Leahy who has a field goal in this game, the difference. But he's a long way from the uprights at the moment as the ball is back at the Jets' 16-yard line. We'll see how Joe Walton plays it. Will he play it safe? He's got 3 timeouts in 107. Fearful that maybe 3 incomplete passes would give Miami and Marino a chance to get the lead at the half. Will he stay on the ground or will he throw it? We're about to find out. Over the middle, the Schuler incomplete, covered by Paul Langford.
T.J. Turner coming in from his left defensive end position to put some heat on O'Brien on that play. They're
X-raying Hugh Green's kneecap, we understand. That was injury to the kneecap.
Right knee. And we have no final report on that, but he certainly is not returning to the field. And anytime you go off on a stretcher, you've got to be concerned.
Swings it out of the backfield, incomplete to Blygen. And 59 seconds left. So here's a case where Joe Walton almost couldn't win. If he runs out the clock, they're going to boo him for not trying to get more. If he throws 3 incomplete passes and Miami gets the ball, they're going to have time to take the lead.
Well, one thing you do know is that you don't want to turn the ball over. So the passes he's thrown have both been high percentage passes. One to the tight end and O'Brien throwing it down low so that Schuler couldn't get it. The defense couldn't either. And that particular little swing, again, high percentage pass. Third down. Let's see what he does here.
Third and 10 stays very safe. Ooh, terrific hit at the 17-yard line, and Miami immediately calls time with 51 seconds, now 50 seconds left.
Paul Langford, number 44, leveling Hector on that play, and we may see the Dolphins go after this punt.
They're going to get pretty good field position, Merlin, even with a decent punt.
Certainly with Marino, again, we relate to the kind of speed he has to deal with. Looking, I believe, at Don Shula and his son David right behind him, talking to the wide receivers and secondary.
Dave Jennings running for only the second time. He had a 48-yarder his first time. Return James Pruitt. Remember last week against Indianapolis, Pruitt took one back 71 yards for a touchdown and had another punt for 35 yards that he returned.
That one almost broke for a TD too, so he is dangerous.
They have 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Jennings will deliver from around his 9-yard line. Spiral, fair catch for Pruitt, runs into his own man, and the Jets have the football. It can't be returned, although Matt Munger will go all the way to the 2-yard line. That you cannot advance the ball. That's a muff, not a fumble. It cannot be advanced, but apparently will be the Jets' ball at midfield.
Now the question is, did that ball strike the receiver? It would appear that it may have done. There was a collision on the sideline and an awareness problem, and yes, it did. It bounced off the receiver. Let's watch what happened on that last play as Pruitt, with his concentration on the ball, runs into one of his blockers who is not aware of where he was on the field. Right there. That's Thompson, number 24, Renee Thompson, streaking down. Thompson, the one who pulled Munger down from behind. But Pruitt, with his concentration on the ball, didn't feel him there. Collision, ball goes over to the Jets.
Big break for New York. It appeared that the ball hit Thompson's hand after Pruitt ran over his teammate's back. So a little extra present for the Jets and Coach Joe Walton. 42 seconds left in the half, and they have it at their own 49.
Here's another angle of that play, and you see that, the ball hits the hand. Renee Thompson's hand as he stuck it out there. The ball bounced away from his hand.
Bryant going deep for Walker. Wesley Walker scores again. pyrotechnics offensively in this first half, and there's going to be some fireworks down in Shula's locker room at the intermission. 2 catches for Wesley Walker, 2 touchdowns, 115 yards, 65 and now 50 yards on the scores. Leahy gets another. And certainly a gift touchdown for the Jets, who move up 31-21.
A pass right in the seam, perfectly thrown by O'Brien to Wesley Walker, who's between 2 defenders. And in this kind of situation, at least you've got to get the man down. Langford misses there, and then goodbye Wesley. He simply outruns Don McNeil to the goal line.
Well, Marino has 34 seconds.
Beautiful pass.
O'Brien, an absolutely perfect strike, and Walker with all that speed dances in with another.
And listen to this crowd.
Now, Lyle's pass interception early in the quarter triggered a quick touchdown as he returned to the 19, and now the recovered muff at midfield leads to a 1-pass, 1-play, 50-yard score.
And I'm sure that Chuck Studley on the sideline trying to figure out how in the world he's going to get his defense back together, faced with the additional loss of Hugh Green. He's got to be a very unhappy man at the moment.
Dan Marino says, hey, 34 seconds. A couple more touchdowns could be scored before we hear the gun. That ties the Jets record, 28 points in a quarter. Hampton at the 5. Lorenzo Hampton, fumble! No, they roll. The ball was down at the 27-yard line. 30 seconds for Marino.
You don't want to look away from the field, Dick. You're going to miss the big play.
52 points scored in the second quarter. You see it again.
Oh, my.
No, he was losing control of the ball. It would appear that could have gone as a fumble.
And with the book under his arm, Larry Pasquale, the coach of the special teams for the Jets, excited, I'm sure, by the play of his troops.
Doesn't tie a record. That establishes the most productive 15 minutes in Jets history against the Miami Dolphins. Well, we said that they've had things spinning, these two teams, and right through the hands of the veteran Matt Moore. Boy, they had the 2 wide receivers, Pruitt and Clayton, clearing deep, and Moore underneath, so he had those 2 men as blockers downfield.
Shula in the past has used 3 wide receivers and Joe Rose, but with Rose on IR, he's gone more and more to 4 wide receivers. There's Carson on the sideline. Bud Carson, he's saying, hey, settle down. You don't want to see any more points in this half.
Again, it's the triple left formation. Pruitt, Clayton, and Moore. Marino underneath. Tony Nathan at the 34-yard line. Miami will not call time, trying to get a play off without a huddle. 18. Dolphins have 2 timeouts left. Screen to Nathan, weaving his way to a first down at the 45, and a timeout with 2 seconds left in the half.
Marino obviously wanting that last play. Of course, if they're able to get a penalty or able to get a lucky bounce down there, then maybe they can put some points up before the half. But we've seen a shower of points in this game.
But Don Shula yesterday, and again on the pregame show today, indicated that after his team's defense was shredded by the Chargers in the opener, 50-28, he said what psychology here was, we started our season last week against Indianapolis. That 50-point game, that happened some other time. But after a 30-10 win against the Colts, his defense has coughed up 31 points in the first 30 minutes today. How about the other points?
And
elsewhere. Buffalo 10-0 already in the third period. Dallas at the half by 8 over Atlanta. Denver, big lead at the half at Philadelphia. New England and Seattle, very important game. Two teams have won their first two games. And the Rams looking for a 3-0 start. Minnesota 10 over Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay leading Detroit 14-3. The Jets way back at their 30-yard line. And there's 5 more yards for Marino.
Tom Baldwin on the nose, off too quickly. And Dick, while we have a second, as they sort that penalty out, Hugh Green apparently will not come back into the ball game.
Encroachment, number 95, defense.
They are going to take further x-rays when they get back to Miami, but it is an injury to his right knee. And I think that one of the reasons that this defense has had so much trouble today, speaking about the Miami defense, is the injury to a man who's a very emotional leader out there, and a very physical player, Hugh Green. But he's not the only problem. His absence is not their only problem.
And 50 yards from a score, and the final play, unless penalty for Marino and the Dolphins. We all know what this one's going to be. Send them deep, give Marino enough time to get one high and deep to the end zone. Here it is. Flopped around and intercepted by the Jets.
Johnny Lynn.
Johnny Lynn with his first interception of the year.
Cast it all, and he pulled it up.
And the Jets fans cheer their team off the field. Wesley Walker, 2 catches, 2 bombs, 2 touchdowns. And the Jets leading 31-21.
And after a couple of performances that were less than inspiring for the Jets, certainly last week's loss, not a good game for the offensive team. O'Brien has shown some real spark here and has used some offensive tools to great advantage as they put up 31 points and take that 10-point lead into the locker room.
And that's not overlooked, the performance by Johnny Hector replacing the injured Freeman McNeil. 2 touchdowns himself and 50 yards rushing. And, of course, Marino, he's got 3 touchdown passes. We can only expect more of the same in the second half. NFL 86 halftime activities will continue in a moment. Dolphins. He has never, in his previous 16 years, lost 2 of the first 3 games. Should the Jets beat Miami today, it would mark a negative milestone for Shula. And you know that, well, you can see right now, he's pumped already. He was out with his team, and he